Okay, welcome to part 2 of 5 this week of the Brain Injury Awareness Week. And like I said earlier, what I'm going to be talking about each day this week is something or a fact about brain injury that most people don't really understand. So today I'm going to talk about short-term memory loss. And now I hear you say, but I have short-term memory loss. I can't even remember what I did yesterday. I get it. I totally get that. But what is different with acquired brain injury and traumatic brain injury survivors is that the short-term memory loss is almost as if you're on a train of thought, and then a brick wall just comes down in front of you and blocks every other thought in your mind, and you just think, what the? So, I mean, to give you an example, and I know that this does happen to people that haven't suffered from brain injury as well, is going to the shops and not remembering what you're going to buy. However, in this instance, and speaking from experience, especially me, I've gone to the shops and I've literally stood in the middle of the grocery store and burst into tears. I know that seems really dramatic, but it really is what happened. So I would, I'd stand in the middle of the store and start to cry because I was so frustrated that I had no idea what I needed to buy. And I'd call my husband and I'd say, what am I here for? And he'd be like, milk and toilet paper. Right. That simple. I forgot that. So, I mean, even though it's things like that, so, I've started to write lists when I go shopping. But one of the main differences is with brain injury survivors is that although this can happen to anyone, it's highly exacerbated when you have brain injury, because what's happening in your brain, all the chemicals, all the neutrons that are trying to constantly repair themselves and trying to figure themselves out, they get confused and they run into each other. That was a really scientific explanation of how the brain works, by the way. So while I do hear you saying that this happens to me too, what I can tell you is that before my brain injury, this did not happen to me. And when I say did not, I don't mean that as an absolute. I do mean that as it didn't happen as often and not as harsh as it happens to me now. Now it happens almost every single day, and I can't even remember conversations that I had 10 minutes ago. And that is not an exaggeration, that is real, that is fact. When I say I can't remember, sometimes I don't even remember conversations that I've had with my husband, proper important conversations about certain things, which we sometimes get into arguments about. But I'm grateful that he's so understanding, because he understands where I'm coming from when I say, you know what, I don't actually remember, because that's the truth. It's not just a flick of the, I don't remember saying that. I'm not actually, it's not egotistical. I literally have no recollection of sometimes the conversations that we've had in the past. And I can't explain to you how frustrating that is, especially as somebody that's been, in the corporate world, in a professional environment for so long, how frustrating that is and how debilitating that can be for me. You listen to me now, and the last thing I spoke about was fatigue, and I'm incredibly fatigued now, and I know that you can't tell, but I am slurring my speech, and I do remember, or I know what I'm going to say, I know what I'm talking about right now, but that does come with over 15 years of corporate experience. Presenting, speaking, remembering what you're trying to say, that is a learned skill, which I do have. So I'm grateful for that. So I'm able to deliver this message, with eloquence to you. So short-term memory is definitely something that is affected when you suffer a brain injury, and more so if it didn't affect you before. Like I said, this was not something that I used to have trouble with before my brain injury, but now I have daily struggles with short-term memory. So that's it for today. I hope you learned something new, and if you didn't, well, tune in for the rest of the week and hopefully you'll learn something then. Have a great week, everyone, and don't forget, it is National Brain Injury Awareness Week, so just be mindful of those who have gone through a brain injury in the past. See you later.